As we said, theater has been used throughout the centuries to educate people. However, the main focus of theater is to entertain. Um, Now, what entertains me might not entertain you. So we go to theater with our own um, aesthetic, our set of likes and dislikes. Most of it is based on experience. What have we experienced that leads us to this preference in art, in theater? Theater is an art form. Let's accept it as that. Um, Easier sometimes to accept visual art, for example, as art. But when we talk about art and we talk about culture, that understanding of literature, art, food, everything that creates our culture, our cultural identity. Theater is more exclusive than, say, a movie. Um, think back to the times when we could freely go to the movies and watch a new release. But that's accessible, and more people appreciate movies than theater. More, excuse me, people appreciate live concerts than live theater. So when we think about these things, live music, movies, television shows, Netflix series, this is considered popular culture because it appeals to a lot of us. Theater falls into a category called elitist culture, the culture of the elite, the culture of the select few. Um, for me, that's hard to accept because I think theater is entertainment for the common man. I have always believed that. But other examples of elitist culture are the ballet, for example, modern dance, um, the symphony, a modern art exhibit. That's elitist culture because it's not appealing to the masses. It appeals to a select few. Now, we in theater try very hard to make theater accessible to everyone. At Sumter Little Theater, our focus is providing plays that will appeal to our audience. In Sumter, our audience is older. Our community is full of retirees. So when we talk about our audience demographic at Sumter Little Theater, it is over 50, white, and female. We are not unique. When in good times, that is the audience demographic across the country. We are supported by white women over 50. Um, Now, when we go through the process of selecting plays for our season, we keep that in mind. We know that our audience responds well to uplifting stories, comedies, musicals, um, and we try to appeal to them in that way. However, in an effort to try to reach more audience, we want to offer a diverse season of plays. So we will throw a drama into the season lineup, or we will put something a little more edgy, a little more controversial in the season lineup. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a contemporary play. It can be an older play that has always kind of been a little edgy, harder for audiences to take. At Sumter Little Theater, we have a very active youth theater program. So at least two plays every season are for children and young people. So we try to make our theater as popular and as appealing to the greatest portion of our community as possible. We are a community theater. We are in no way exclusive. So it's important for us to remember that as we move forward and we produce plays during a season, every season. Theater has some very special qualities that set it apart from other forms of art. And I think it's important to know these as we approach the understanding and appreciation of theater. First, theater is lifelike. When you go to the theater, you are going to see, as Aristotle said, a representation of human beings in action. And that action is everyday behavior, what we do. It involves feelings, emotions. How do we respond to things? Love, loss, anger, pain. In doing that, in being lifelike, it encourages the viewer, the audience, to experience empathy. If, for example, we see on stage a child who has lost a pet, standing in the backyard calling for this pet who is nowhere to be found. All of us can relate to that, I hope. Surely you lost something when you were younger. God knows I did. And we can relate to that. We can also relate to feelings of disappointment, anger. When one character responds to something that another character does with anger, we are going to respond to that emotionally. Either we are going to understand this character's anger, or we are going to retreat from it because for whatever reason, our response to anger is different. Theater is lifelike. We relate to theater as living beings. Number two, theater is ephemeral. What does that mean? Ephemerality describes something that is here for a minute and then it's gone. It's temporary. It goes away after a time. I like to compare or use the analogy of sunset. Okay? You go on the side of a hill to watch the sunset one afternoon. Clear sky, beautiful sunset, wonderful. You hear that the following day it's going to be just as clear, and you go out to the same hill to watch the sunset. Will you see the same sunset? No. In the same way, if you see a performance tonight and you decide to go back tomorrow night to see the performance, will you see the same performance? No, because we're human beings and the play's living. It's a living art form. Things will happen. The other idea about ephemerality is once the play is over, it's gone. All we have of that play are our memories of it, of the experience. I'll be back.